Hello, everyone, and thank you for joining us today. We at CHS are so excited to welcome all of you to our new video series called UnifiMD IQ, Insights and Quick Wins. My name is Carrie Penna, for those of you I haven't met. I've been with CHS for 28 years and wear several hats here. The biggest chunk of my time is split between invoicing for the company and overseeing our development department, providing guidance and direction for the UnifiMD product based on regulatory changes and requirements and guidance from our staff and from our end users. Amanda Thompson is joining me today. She's been with CHS for 15 years in different areas of the service and support team. Currently, she is the lead trainer for the UnifiMD EMR product. She has some trainers who work under her at CHS who can come to her for assistance if needed on certain items in their training. We greatly value her knowledge on all things EMR and are happy to have her here today to walk through the first video of the series. We will rotate through other staff members in these videos as we cover additional topics, allowing you to virtually meet more of us and see some faces that you talk to on the phone at CHS. We decided to launch this series to help our customers learn about features in UnifiMD that some of you may not be aware of. We will be releasing a series of videos covering different topics that we really feel everyone may have missed for one reason or another during training. Some clients are just paying so much attention to the big parts of training that smaller things are missed in those first few months of nerves. And some clients are in a hurry to get up and live as quick as possible. Maybe your other EMR is being shut down and you didn't have time to listen to all the small parts. So we decided to go back and go over some of the things that just may have fallen through the cracks, making sure that we can improve on everyone's experience with UnifiMD. So today is the first video in the series. It is called Smart Charting, Shortcuts for Speed and Simplicity. We chose this as the first topic because we know how important your time is to you, and we want you to get patients in and out faster, avoid the need to chart after hours, and keep your waiting room full of happy patients. Amanda's going to take you through the topics for today's webinar. It should only be about 15 minutes. We hope you enjoy and find some helpful information. Please share among your office staff. And when you're finished, we did send out in the invite for this video a link to a short survey. I would love to have you complete so we can get some feedback on what you think about it and future ones. We are going to turn our cameras off to go through the video because it improves on the sound quality during the video. So Amanda's going to share her screen. We'll turn off our videos, and I hope you guys enjoy what we have for you today. Amanda, you're up.
Awesome.
All right.
Super excited to do this for you guys. So let's go ahead and bring up our UnifiMD product here.
The first thing we were going to go through, I'll kind of guide Amanda. She'll be the shower. I'm just Vanna White here. I'm just going to guide. So the first thing we were going to cover is dashboards and how customizable they are and different ways they can be used.
All right. So UnifiMD is all about customization, making things work for your specific job role. Having a dashboard that's customizable to what you do on a day-to-day is going to make things a little bit quicker and easier to find. So I've set up UnifiMD here with 5 separate logins to show you 5 of the more common office staff roles and an idea of what the dashboard can be. This is just what I would maybe set up if I was that person in the office, but you're not limited to what you're seeing here. So first off, I have the office manager dashboard set up. So I have my schedule over here on the left-hand side of the screen. I have my messaging pod, as well as tasks that are being assigned to me, and then general notifications so I can kind of keep an eye on what's going on in the practice throughout the day, seeing if we have any incoming faxes that need to be handled, what's going on with orders, are my providers keeping up on their unsigned notes and labs, is there anything in multimedia review, or as far as prescriptions are coming in that are being queued up by the staff or through a refill request. The next one we're going to look at is the provider dashboard. So this one's a little bit different. I have an extra pod on here, and I took out the notification area. So you still have the schedule because honestly, everyone needs to see the schedule throughout the day. But the provider has an unsigned notes bin over here on the right-hand side, as well as tasks that are being assigned to them. On the left side, we have the multimedia review, so documents that are getting scanned into the patient's chart that need to be notified to the provider for review and sign off, and then the internal messaging as well. Next up, we have front desk. It's a little bit less information on this screen. We have the schedule, and we have messaging and tasks. I want to also point out while we're here looking at this specific user setup that the schedule has a lot more columns than what we were seeing on the other two dashboards. Not only can you customize the pods that you're viewing on the dashboard, but you can customize the columns within a pod. So for example, here in the schedule, we have a lot of data here, and it may not be applicable to what I'm looking at for when I'm checking in a patient at the front desk. So we can remove columns or even add columns to here if there's something that's missing that I do need to see. So I'm going to obviously need to know the patient's name, their age and their sex and their date of birth are great information to have at hand when they're checking in. I don't necessarily need their phone number, so we're going to go ahead and remove that column. To remove any column, you're just going to left click on the column header and drag it up until you see an X come across the screen. And you're going to do that with as many columns as you want. So I'm also going to get rid of the home phone, the work phone. I don't need to see their insurance information. But now I have the date, the time, reason, and status. It also doesn't seem to be in the right order for my personal preference. So I'm going to kind of arrange these a little bit more. So I can take this time column, again, left clicking on it, and drag it right and left on the screen and place it into any other position. You'll see a double arrow appear on the screen. So if I take this time and I drag it all the way to the left, that is going to be what is first shown in the column order. And what you set up as your column preferences isn't going to affect your neighbor, even if they have the same dashboard customization as you. If you want to add a column or see a list of columns that are also available to be added to the dashboard, we're just going to left click on a column header and use the option here for column chooser. So if you accidentally remove something that you would like to see, you can add it back. It'll be in this list here. So there's home phone. It was previously on the dashboard and I've taken it out. One thing that I do like to have everyone put on their dashboards when we're going through training, it's this one here for note status. And when you double click on it, it'll add it to the column layout. Note status is a great one because it lets us know whether a note was done, if there's a note that's been started but not signed, or if the note's been signed for the office visit. All right, so jumping back into the other layouts that we have here. So this is the front desk. There's two more I want to show, which is a nurse view. So the nurse has a similar view on their pods as the provider. They have a multimedia review because they might get assigned documents that need to be signed off by the nurse versus the provider for review. So they have that pod there along with the schedule, messaging, and tasks. And then the last option here that I have set up is the biller view. This one has a brand new pod that we haven't seen on any of the other dashboards yet, which is the pending super bills. So if you're using our electronic encounters to push back to your practice management system, your biller will love to have this pending super bill pod because it'll show them the work that they need to do as the super bills are getting created and are ready for them to send to the practice management program.
Thank you for that. That's super helpful. I think it'll give people some good ideas on different ways to set up their dashboards. The next thing we wanted to touch on was the notification area.
Yes, so let me get back to my provider view here. Let's close out a couple of these. We don't need any more.
And I know we touched base on it briefly, like you said, but I think there was another way you wanted to make sure people were able to find that.
Yes. So I talked about it here on the dashboard for the office manager. She has, or he has, the notification area on the dashboard, but all users have access to the notification area up here in the ribbon bar. So underneath dictionaries, in the ribbon, there's a section here for notification area, and it'll show you the same counts. The benefit of having this up here at the top of the screen is that this travels with you no matter where you are in the system, whereas the notification area on the dashboard is only seen on the dashboard. So use both, use one or the other, either is a great option, but knowing that this is here is helpful and a quick way to get back to things like your messages or faxes or multimedia that needs to be signed off on or reviewed.
Thank you. The quick access toolbar was our next topic for this.
Awesome. So the quick access toolbar is these little tiny icons up here in the up farthest left-hand corner of the screen. So there's some here that are pinned by default of using the software. So the biggest one being this dashboard icon here. So if you ever close your dashboard and need to open it, that icon's going to bring it back up. But it'd be really great if there were some things in here that pertain to your job role that will help you get into items of the program faster. So the biggest one that I like to show is how to add the patient search to the quick access toolbar. So most commonly, everyone's coming in under dictionaries and clicking patients and clicking patient charts. It doesn't sound like it's a lot of steps. It's only really 3 clicks. But wouldn't it be nice if it was just 1 click? So under dictionaries, when you go to the patients and patient charts, if you right click on this, you have an option here to add to quick access toolbar. And when you do that, it puts a little icon up in the top for you to click on. So instead of having to do the 3 steps, dictionaries, patients, patient charts, I just click on this icon here and it opens up the same screen.
And I imagine
You,
those are per user, right? So the person who manages faxes in the office might want to add that up there, and everyone can add the thing they wish they could access faster.
exactly. Um, Tools is another area where we can add a lot of these things. So messaging, electronic super bills, maybe the provider and the biller want those in their quick access toolbar, but the front desk doesn't need to see those. You just, on any one of the items, if you just right click and you'll have that pop up to say add to quick access toolbar.
Teeny tiny thing, but adds up
Teeny
to a big
tiny.
time saver. Couple more teeny tiny, but adds up things. The recent patients, that's been in here for a while, but I think it's worth pointing out to people in case they hadn't noticed it already.
Yes. So when we were underneath dictionaries and patients, um, this we'll do a count of 15 charts that you've been
I
in,
think so.
10 or 15. Honestly, can't remember the number off the top of my head, but it'll show you the last few patients that you've been in. I know I do this a lot in our own ticketing system. I'll be working on something and then I'll close it prematurely and I'll be like, oh man, I wish I forgot to add something. This is what that is used for. You've closed the chart and you said, oh, I forgot to add a pop-up note on Colin's chart. Instead of having to go through the whole entire lookup process again, if you do patients, this list will be here and whatever one you close last will always be the first one. So if it was a patient a few charts ago, it'll just be a little bit lower in the list. And this is also per user. So my most recent patient list is going to look different than Carrie's most recent patient list. And you just click on the name and it's going to open up the patient's chart.
Perfect. Now that we're in a chart, this is probably a good place to show how some hotkeys work for those of us who don't like to use the mouse so often.
Yes. So I'm a big keyboard shortcut fan. I use a lot of it in our ticketing system, and I use it a lot when I'm doing building of notes inside of Unify. There's a whole slew of them in the software. We actually have a hotkeys document, which we are going to share with you guys on our website. So you'll be able to access this, but there's a bunch of them as you can see here in the software. But when you're in a patient's chart, if there's a tab, it's kind of hard to see. Might have to get close. I do sometimes. Like if I want to go to the notes tab, and instead of looking for it in this array of tabs, if I hit Control N or Shift,
I think it's Alt.
Alt, yep, totally the wrong letters. Alt N on the keyboard, it's going to take me to that tab. If I hit Alt H, it opens up the hotkey menu, so don't do that. Not hitting the right button apparently. So read my document, because apparently I don't have them all memorized. But you can use, if there's an underscore underneath the tab, the Alt key and that letter is going to take you there. So Alt L does letters, Alt N does notes. There's a few other ones that you can find in the system. So even though we added patient charts to the quick access toolbar, it's also Control Shift P on the keyboard. So if you hit those, it's going to open up the patient search. Control Shift M is patient messaging. Those are ones that I use a lot when I'm using the software. I don't personally use the ones in the chart tabs all that often, but they do exist.
We enjoyed making this, and we hope you guys enjoy the information that was contained in it and help save you a little time in your day-to-day work in the office. We will be sending out an email announcing this video, and in it will be a link to our CHS One Stop website. That is where we've been saving documentation lately. If you've been trained on UnifiMD in the past 6 to 9 months, you have a login to this. If not, and you've been using it longer, please reach out to support so we can create a login for you. Anyone in your office, everyone in your office, whatever you want, we'll create a login so that you can access this site, and it stores a lot of helpful information, including from this document, from this video, the hotkeys document that Amanda was talking about before that shows you all of those shortcut keys. So if you want to have a one-stop login created for you, reach out to our support department. You know how to find us. It's 800-250-8687. And if you hit option 2 for support, that'll help you find anybody you need. You can also just send an email to support@mailchs.com and let us know that you need a login to One Stop with the email that you want us to use for that login. You will also be receiving an email from us with a survey. We'd like to know how you felt about this video and what other topics you'd like to see covered. As of right now, we do have a few additional ones planned. The next one that we will be sending out will be e-prescribing features that you should be using. Just helpful areas that you may not know about now that you can add into your workflow. Thank you very much for your time today, everyone.
Bye.